If you're waiting, you're losing. If someone else decides your paycheck, they also decide your limit. Let that sink in. Every time you wait for payday, wait for a raise, a promotion, or someone to approve your idea, you're handing over control of your life. You're giving someone else the pen to write your worth while you sit quietly, hoping for a number that barely covers your bills. Most people are raised to be obedient, to wait patiently, to follow the rules. Get good grades, apply for a stable job, work hard, and one day someone will reward you. But what if I told you that whole system was never built to make you wealthy? It was built to make you compliant. The wealthy don't wait. They don't ask for permission. They create value. They solve problems. They decide what they're worth, and they write their own checks. This video is not about fantasy. It's not about overnight success. It's about a brutal truth. Waiting is the most expensive thing poor people do. Because while you're waiting for someone to pay you, the rich are building systems that pay them again and again without clocking in. They're not smarter. They're not luckier. They simply learned one secret the poor were never taught. Money flows to those who create, not those who wait. Let's be clear. This isn't about quitting your job tomorrow. It's about shifting your mindset from employee to creator, from receiver to initiator, from dependent to in control. We're going to break down why waiting keeps you broke, why control over income equals control over life, and how the wealthy think, act, and build money in a way most people never dare to try. By the end of this video, you won't just understand the difference, you'll feel it. And if you're ready to stop waiting for your life to change, then it's time to take the pen back. Let's begin. The employee mindset, a culture of permission. Let's start with the truth no one likes to admit. Most people don't want freedom. They want permission. They've been trained since childhood to wait for someone else to tell them what to do, and more importantly, what they're allowed to have. Go back to school for a moment. Remember how the system worked? You couldn't go to the bathroom without raising your hand. You couldn't speak unless called on. You couldn't choose your schedule, your topics, or your learning speed. You were rewarded for sitting still, following rules, and completing tasks, not for questioning, building, or leading. From the very beginning, society raised you to be an employee, to be obedient, to wait. And now, as an adult, you've internalized it. You wait for your boss to approve a vacation. You wait for HR to approve a raise. You wait for someone else to promote you, recognize you, or finally give you what you deserve. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The world doesn't pay you what you deserve. It pays you what you negotiate, or what you create. And employees don't create, they execute. Brain, the dangerous comfort of a paycheck. There's a reason people cling to jobs, even ones they hate. It's not because they love the work, it's because they love the certainty. A paycheck feels safe, predictable, comfortable. But that comfort comes at a cost, and it's far higher than you think. Because when you trade freedom for security, you're not actually buying peace of mind, you're renting your future. And your landlord is the company that writes your check. Every dollar you earn is proof that you traded your time and gave up your control. Obedience equals survival, not wealth. You were taught that if you follow the rules, you'll be rewarded. But the truth? The rules were made to keep you in place. The school system was built to produce workers, not creators. It rewards memorization, not innovation. It punishes failure instead of encouraging experimentation. Then you graduate. And what's next? You apply for a job. You wait for someone to say you're good enough. You hope they pick you. Congratulations, you've gone from student to employee. The permission loop continues. You need approval for everything. You don't decide your worth. You don't even own your time. You're living inside a box, and the scariest part is you think it's normal. Why this mindset keeps you poor? Let's get brutally honest. The employee mindset keeps people poor, not because jobs are evil, but because they cap your potential. Your income is tied to hours. Your freedom is tied to someone else's business. Your value is determined by a manager with a budget, not a vision.
And your financial growth depends on someone else's permission. Now compare that to how the wealthy think. They don't ask, how much can I get paid for this hour? They ask, how much value can I build that keeps paying me? That one question changes everything. Blast. What waiting actually costs you? Here's what you lose when you wait. Time. Every year spent waiting is one less year building something of your own. Autonomy. You never make your own rules because you've never practiced thinking for yourself. Confidence. The more you rely on external validation, the less you trust your own judgment. Wealth. You'll never out-earn a system you don't own. Waiting becomes your lifestyle. You wait for weekends. You wait for holidays. You wait for retirement. And when it finally arrives, you realize you've spent your best years working for someone else's dream. Refresh. From worker to builder, the mindset shift. Here's the shift that needs to happen. Stop thinking like an employee. Start thinking like an owner. That doesn't mean quitting your job today. It means rewiring your mental model of money, time, and worth. Ask yourself, what am I building outside my job? What skill can I package and sell? What system can I start that earns money without my constant input? What problems can I solve better than others? These aren't questions employees ask. These are questions creators ask. And that's why they get paid more. Because they're not waiting. They're initiating. Door. The exit door is open. Few walk through. Here's the irony. The internet has leveled the playing field. Today, anyone can start writing their own checks. You can start a digital product, launch a service, build an audience, invest in assets, sell what you know. But most won't. Why? Because it feels safer to wait than to act. Because they still need permission. They're still looking for someone to tell them you're allowed to win. You don't need that anymore. You never did. Compass. Summary. Permission is the cage. If you want to live like the wealthy, you must first think like them. And that begins with this. Stop waiting to be picked. Start picking yourself. The employee mindset is a cage made of comfort. You'll never get rich living inside it. And the key to the lock is permission, not from others, but from yourself. The moment you stop waiting is the moment you start owning your life.
The creator's advantage, why the rich don't wait. We've been told the story backward. Most people believe that you have to get lucky, be born rich, or wait your turn to become wealthy. But that's not how it works. The people who rise to the top, the ones who write their own checks, didn't wait. They created. They didn't look for jobs. They looked for problems to solve. They didn't ask for promotions. They asked how to serve people better and got paid for it. They didn't count the hours. They counted the value. That's the creator's mindset, and that's the true advantage of the rich. Value over labor. Poor people are taught to chase labor. Rich people chase leverage. If you grew up in a household where work was sacred, you were probably told things like, hard work pays off, put your head down and be grateful. Don't aim too high, just find a secure job. But here's what wealthy people teach their kids. Create something people need. Don't work for money, make money work for you. You don't get rich by earning more. You get rich by owning more. It's not about working harder. It's about working differently. The creator doesn't ask, how can I earn more per hour? They ask, how can I create something once that pays me forever? That's the game the rich are playing, and most people don't even know it exists. IQ. Creation equals control. The biggest advantage the rich have isn't money, it's control. They don't rely on external systems for income. They build internal systems that generate income. A business, a product, an asset, an investment, a brand. Each one is a form of income creation, a money printer that runs without asking for permission. Let's be clear, not all creators are billionaires, but all creators have control over something most people give away daily, the power to decide their worth. When you create value, something the market wants, you control the transaction. You set the price. You set the terms. You write the check. And that is the true freedom the rich enjoy. Stop asking. Start creating. The average person still waits to be chosen. Chosen by an employer, chosen by a gatekeeper, chosen by society. But the rich, they choose themselves. They don't wait for an invitation, they build the room. They don't hope for approval, they offer solutions. They don't dream of opportunity, they create it. You were taught to be a worker, but you were born to be a creator. That's your birthright, and you've forgotten it. The tools are in your hands. 50 years ago, building a business took millions in capital. Today, you need Wi-Fi and courage. You can sell your skills online, write an ebook,
Create a course. Start a YouTube channel. Build an email list. Launch a service. Monetize your audience. None of these paths require permission. They require initiative. That's what separates the poor from the rich. Not luck, not talent, but the willingness to act, to create. The internet has removed every barrier, and yet, most people still wait. Why? Because they don't believe they can. Because no one ever told them they're allowed to be more. Let this video be your permission slip. You don't need credentials. You don't need approval. You need to start. Ownership versus employment. Let's break it down in simple terms. Employees wait to be paid. Creators build systems that pay them. Employees hope for recognition. Creators build impact. Employees depend on one income stream. Creators build multiple. Employees worry about job loss. Creators control their destiny. This is not about disrespecting jobs. It's about realizing that jobs are temporary tools, not final destinations. The goal is freedom. The method is creation. Creation scales, labor doesn't. Here's the biggest advantage the rich have. Their time is not tied to their income. If you're paid by the hour, your income is capped. But if you build something that others can buy, whether you're awake or asleep, your income is unlimited. That's why creators win. They build assets, not just effort. Assets that live online, assets that grow with time, assets that earn while they rest. You can't outwork someone who builds what you still wait for. You can't save your way to freedom. You have to create your way there. Creation is a habit, not an event. Most people think creation means launching a $1 million company overnight. Wrong. Creation starts small. One article, one video, one product, one post, one sale. Then you do it again and again until the market starts to pay attention. The rich aren't magicians. They're repeaters. They create, test, refine, scale. Over and over again. That's how they stop waiting for income and start owning it. Summary: the creator's edge. So, why don't the rich wait? Because they don't need to. They've built tools, they've built systems, they've built income. They own their time, they own their worth, they own their checks. And the good news? So can you. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. The pen is in your hand. You can either wait for someone to write your next paycheck, or you can write it yourself. Choose creation. Choose control. Choose wealth.
Trading time versus building value. There's a silent trap that keeps millions poor, and it sounds perfectly reasonable. I work hard, I deserve to be paid. But here's the problem. You're not paid for how hard you work. You're paid for how much value you create. And there's a huge difference between trading time and building value. Time is limited. Value is not. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. That means time is a finite resource. Once it's gone forever. So if your income is tied to your time, your earning potential is capped by default. You can't work 25 hours a day. You can't clone yourself. You can't escape the clock. But value? Value is infinite. You can create a solution once and sell it 1,000 times. You can record a course, write a book, build a product, and it works even when you don't. That's the difference between a worker and a builder. A worker trades hours. A builder multiplies value. And only one of them gets rich. The hourly trap. Let's do the math. You earn $20 an hour. You work 8 hours a day. That's $1,600 per day max. $3,200 per month if you don't miss a single day. Sounds decent, but here's the problem. You only earn when you show up. Your income resets to zero every Monday. If you get sick, fired, or burned out, it all stops. That's not freedom. That's a treadmill. The moment you stop running, you stop earning. Now compare that to someone who builds value. They create once and earn forever. That's the game changer. Value is not just effort, it's impact. Here's the secret. You're not paid for effort, you're paid for impact. That's why a CEO can earn millions in 1 year, while a janitor working twice as hard earns minimum wage. Is it fair? Not always, but it's reality. The market doesn't reward effort, it rewards solutions. It rewards demand. It rewards results. And the people who build value at scale win big. Mental shift from worker to architect. If you want to stop trading time, you need to become an architect of value. Ask yourself, what do I know that others would pay to learn? What can I build once that helps people over and over? How can I package my knowledge, skills, or experience into something scalable? This is what the rich do. They don't sell time. They sell solutions. They sell systems. They sell outcomes.
And that's why they never have to worry about clocking in. Examples of building value. Let's get practical. Here's what building value can look like. Digital products, ebooks, courses, templates, software. Build once, sell forever. Service systems, coaching programs, consulting packages. Price based on results, not hours. Investments, stocks, real estate, business equity. Let money and assets work for you.
Content creation, YouTube, newsletters, podcasts. Build audience, monetize attention. Licensing and royalties. Create something others can distribute. Earn passively from others' effort. In all these models, value scales. Your income is no longer chained to your presence. You become free. How the poor think about time. Here's the mindset difference. Poor people ask, how much will I be paid per hour? Rich people ask, how much value can I deliver over time? One is short-term, the other is exponential. Poor people fear wasting time. Rich people fear wasting potential. And when you realize your time is your most precious asset, you stop selling it to the lowest bidder. You start investing it into value creation. Time is not money unless you waste it. We've all heard it, time is money. But that's a lie for poor people. For the rich, time is leverage. They use time to build, to strategize, to create. They spend time today to make money tomorrow. They don't waste time, but they don't hoard it either. They spend it wisely, knowing it's a currency of creation. If you're still trading your hours, you're not maximizing your wealth. You're minimizing your impact. The hidden risk of hour-based thinking. Hourly work feels safe, predictable, comfortable. But here's the hidden cost. It kills creativity. It punishes rest. It rewards busy work. It keeps you chasing, not building. You can't think long-term when you're paid to stay busy. You're always reacting, never creating. And that's why many people spend 40 years working hard with nothing to show for it but tired bones and a retirement check. Building value is a skill. Learn it. It's not reserved for geniuses. It's not about inventing the next iPhone. It's about solving real problems for real people in a way that multiplies. Start with what you know. Teach it, package it, scale it. The world doesn't need more employees. It needs more builders. And the moment you start building, your time becomes priceless. Summary: don't just work, build. If you trade your time, you'll always be replaceable. But if you build value, you become irreplaceable. The rich understand this. They don't chase hours. They chase leverage. They build assets. They multiply effort. And they get paid again and again for something they build once. You can too. So ask yourself, are you spending your life working or are you spending it building? The answer will determine your wealth and your freedom. System over labor. Why the rich escape the time trap. Hard work is honorable, but hard work alone will never make you rich. In fact, some of the hardest working people in the world are also the poorest. They sweat, they grind, they sacrifice sleep, family, health, and still struggle to survive. Why? Because they're trapped in a system where labor is the only currency. Meanwhile, the wealthy are playing a different game entirely. They don't escape poverty by working harder. They escape by building systems. The time trap. Why labor has limits. Let's be clear. Labor is important, but labor is linear. 1 hour equals 1 result. 1 effort equals 1 reward. 1 person equals 1 paycheck. It doesn't scale. It doesn't multiply. It burns out. And that's why relying on labor, no matter how noble, will always cap your freedom. You only have so much energy, so many hours, so many years. But a system doesn't sleep. A system doesn't get tired. A system doesn't call in sick.
A system works whether you show up or not. That's the true escape hatch from the time trap. Leverage, the rich man's multiplier. If labor is linear, leverage is exponential. The rich use systems as leverage to multiply their time, scale their impact, automate their income, reduce their dependency on themselves. Think of it this way. While the poor ask, "How can I do more?" the rich ask, "How can I remove myself?" Because the ultimate freedom is when money flows without you having to be involved every step of the way. What is a system? A system is anything that replaces your constant labor with automated value creation. Examples include a business that runs with employees and processes, a website that sells your products 24/7, an online funnel that turns strangers into paying clients, a YouTube channel earning passive ad revenue, an investment portfolio generating monthly dividends, a book or course that people keep buying long after you've created it. Each one is a machine, a system that works while you live. It's not just about making money. It's about escaping dependency on labor. The poor sell time, the rich build machines. Let's say a poor person makes $25 an hour. They can work 10 hours a day. That's $250. Now imagine a rich person who owns an e-commerce store. They built the website once. Now, it makes $1,000 a day, even if they go hiking. The store is the system. It runs on software, ads, automation, and digital leverage. While the poor are exhausted from effort, the rich are collecting from systems. That's not magic. That's strategic design. You don't need millions to build a system. Here's the misconception. People think systems require capital, offices, or huge teams. But in the digital age, your phone is a system builder. You can launch a newsletter, sell a digital product, create an affiliate website, record an online course, automate client bookings, schedule content for months.
One person, one laptop, zero excuses. It's not about starting big, it's about starting smart, and systems are smarter than labor, every time. Mindset shift from worker to architect. Laborers ask, how can I earn more for each hour I work? Architects ask, how can I build something that earns while I sleep? The former lives inside the system, the latter designs it. You have to stop thinking like an operator and start thinking like a builder. It's not about working in the machine, it's about owning the machine. That shift is what turns effort into income and income into freedom. Why labor is the most expensive path to wealth. Think about this. Labor costs energy. Labor stops when you stop. Labor is taxed the most. Labor makes you replaceable. Labor doesn't scale with ambition. Now look at systems. Systems cost time to build, but work forever. Systems earn while you rest. Systems are taxed smarter. Systems make you scalable. Systems amplify ambition. Every hour spent building a system today is worth 10 hours of labor tomorrow. Reach from solopreneur to system owner. Maybe you're a freelancer right now, or a content creator, or a coach. You're still trading time. That's okay for now, but your goal should be this: turn your service into a system. Example, coaching, create a course. Freelance writing, build a writing agency. Photography, sell presets or workshops. Content creation, build a paid community. Ask, how can I take what I do and remove myself from the center? That's how solopreneurs become systempreneurs. That's how you step off the treadmill. Why most people never escape labor? Let's be honest. Most people don't build systems because they don't believe they can. They think, I'm not tech savvy, it's too risky, I don't have time, I'm just a worker. But these are not limitations, they're excuses. Excuses that keep you small. Excuses that keep you broke. The truth is, you don't need a PhD to build a system. You need clarity, discipline, consistency. You don't need to be special. You need to start. The system doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work without you. Start small. Build once. Earn repeatedly. You don't need to build Amazon tomorrow. Start tiny. One landing page, one product, one automation, one client funnel. Then let it run. Test, improve, expand. That's how empires are built. Not with magic, with systems. Summary: build the machine, then walk away. The poor exhaust themselves trying to do everything. The rich invest in systems that do it for them. And now, in this era, you can do the same. You can build a system once, let it run forever. Escape the labor trap. Own your time. Scale your wealth. So stop asking, how can I work harder? Start asking, what machine can I build that works harder than me? Because the rich don't just work less, they work smarter. And they win because their systems never sleep.
The high cost of waiting. Most people don't realize this. Waiting is not free. It's not neutral. It's not harmless. Waiting is expensive. And for the poor, it's the most costly decision they make every single day. They wait for the right time. They wait for permission. They wait for someone to discover them. They wait until they're ready. But every second you wait is a second you're not creating, building, earning, or growing. And while you're waiting, someone else is moving. Waiting costs you more than money. Let's break it down. When you wait, you lose time, the one resource you can never get back. Every month you delay is a month of lost momentum. Time doesn't pause for indecision. It punishes it. Opportunities. The market rewards speed. That idea you're sitting on, someone else just launched it. That client you hesitated to pitch, they found someone else. Energy. Waiting drains you emotionally. The more you wait, the heavier things feel. Doubt grows in silence. Confidence grows in action. Identity. Every time you choose to wait, you reinforce the belief that you're not ready, that you're not worthy, that you're not capable. So yes, waiting is not just delay, it's decay. I'm not ready yet. The most expensive sentence. This one sentence has cost more dreams than failure ever has. I'm not ready yet. Not ready to start. Not ready to try. Not ready to ask. Not ready to build. But what makes you ready? A certificate? More confidence? A better economy? Here's the truth. Action creates readiness. Waiting never does. You become ready by doing, not by stalling. Rich people know this. They move while learning. They launch before they're fully prepared. They trust that progress beats perfection. Poor people wait for conditions. Rich people create conditions. I'll start when I have more money. I have more time. I'm less stressed. The market improves. That's how poor people think. They believe the outside world must align perfectly before they can act. The rich
they flip the script. They act first and shape conditions later. They don't wait for time, they make time. They don't hope for a break, they create momentum. They know the world doesn't owe them a green light, so they run the red and build their own road. Waiting becomes a trap. Here's what happens when you wait. 1 week becomes a month. A month becomes a year. A year becomes a decade, and suddenly you're 10 years older, still waiting.
You still have the idea, still have the dream, but now you also have regret. Regret is the natural interest charged on waiting too long, and it compounds daily. The longer you wait, the harder it gets to start. Not because you can't, but because you've convinced yourself you shouldn't. The habit of hesitation. Waiting isn't just an event, it's a pattern, and patterns become identities. I always overthink. I'm the cautious one. I take my time. No. You hesitate because it feels safer than risking embarrassment. But let me ask you, what's more embarrassing, failing in public or never trying at all? What's more painful, the sting of failure or the ache of unrealized potential? The rich know the answer. They'd rather try and adjust than hesitate and vanish. Because even failure builds experience. Waiting builds nothing. Every day you wait, you stay the same. People say time heals. That's only true for wounds. But for goals, time without action equals stagnation. You don't get richer by waiting. You don't get fitter by thinking about it. You don't get smarter by delaying action. You don't get noticed by staying quiet. Waiting keeps you in the same place while the world moves on. The people who succeed aren't always the smartest or most talented. They're just the ones who started. You don't need more time, you need less excuse. What if you stopped saying, I need to prepare more? It's not the right moment. I'll do it when things calm down. And instead said, I'll start with what I have, I'll learn as I go, I'll figure it out in motion. That's how momentum begins, not with perfect plans, but with a single step. You're not short on time. You're drowning in excuses. And every excuse is a thief, stealing your progress, your peace, and your power. Waiting is a choice, so is movement. Here's the most empowering truth of all. Waiting is voluntary, so is movement. No one is stopping you. No one is holding you back. No one has to say yes before you act. You are the gate. You are the green light. You are the permission you've been waiting for. And the second you realize that, you'll never wait again. Summary: the high price of inaction. Waiting is not cautious. It's costly. It costs you time. It costs you income. It costs you freedom. It costs you dreams. And the longer you wait, the further behind you fall. Not just in results, but in belief. So today, ask yourself, what have I been waiting for? And what is it costing me every day? Then choose the better cost, the cost of discomfort, the cost of courage, the cost of beginning. Because action always costs less than regret. And the rich, they don't pay the price of waiting. They invest in doing.
Scarcity versus abundance. Why the poor don't dare ask. There's a silent virus that infects most minds long before they ever touch money. It's called scarcity thinking, and it's the hidden force behind why most people stay poor. Scarcity says, there's not enough. I shouldn't want too much. If I win, someone else must lose. People like me don't get rich. Be grateful, don't be greedy. Sounds noble, right? But behind the curtain, it's just fear, dressed up as humility. And it's the reason so many never ask for more, never build more, never become more. Brain, scarcity is a mental prison. Scarcity isn't about money. It's about belief. You can make $200K a year and still operate in scarcity.
You still say yes to clients who underpay you, hesitate to raise your prices, feel guilt for wanting more, fear that success will disappear overnight, play small because too much might be seen as arrogant. Scarcity isn't how much you have, it's how you see the world. And when you see the world as limited, you limit yourself automatically. Zipper, why the poor stay silent. Here's what most poor and middle-class people never learned to do. Ask. Ask for a raise. Ask for the sale. Ask for help. Ask for what they want unapologetically. Why? Because they've been programmed to believe that asking is rude, pushy, or selfish. They were taught to be polite, to wait their turn, to be grateful for crumbs. So even when they know they deserve more, they whisper instead of demand. But the rich, they ask boldly. Not because they're arrogant, but because they believe in value exchange. They know if I bring value, I should be compensated accordingly. It's not begging, it's fairness. N. Scarcity makes you shrink. Scarcity doesn't just keep you poor financially, it shrinks everything. Your vision, your creativity, your ambition, your confidence. You don't launch that product because who would buy it? You don't pitch that idea because someone smarter already did it. You don't increase your rates because I might lose the client. So you play small, you price small, you dream small, and worst of all, you normalize small. Earth, abundance is a different game entirely. Now step into the mindset of abundance. It says, there's more than enough for everyone. My success doesn't steal from yours. Value multiplies, it doesn't run out. I can grow without guilt. Money is not evil, it's a tool. Abundance doesn't mean reckless optimism, it means believing that you live in a world of possibility, not limitation. It's the mindset that fuels creativity, boldness, generosity, and growth. And that's why wealthy people keep getting wealthier, because they operate from a belief that more is possible, and they act accordingly.
Scarcity is inherited, but you can break it. No one is born with a scarcity mindset. It's passed down from parents who struggled and feared, from schools that taught obedience, not confidence, from cultures that praised humility but demonized ambition, from religions that equated poverty with virtue, from systems that reward conformity, not boldness. But just because it was planted in you doesn't mean you have to keep watering it. You can rewire your relationship with value. You can rewrite what you believe you deserve. You can relearn how to ask, because you'll never receive what you don't believe you're allowed to have. How abundant people think differently. Let's compare side by side. Mindset, scarcity, abundance. Money, fixed pie, expanding pie. Opportunity, rare, everywhere. Other success, threat, proof it's possible. Asking, rude, powerful. Giving, dangerous, empowering. Risk, to be avoided, to be calculated. Growth, optional, essential. The shift begins when you realize this. Scarcity asks, what if I lose? Abundance asks, what if I grow? And only one of those leads to wealth. Ask like you deserve it. Want to break scarcity fast? Start asking. Ask for that raise. Ask for that partnership. Ask for feedback. Ask to be paid what you're worth. Ask the market to respond to your creation. You don't need to be aggressive, but you do need to be clear. Clarity beats fear. Confidence beats guilt. You are not selfish for wanting more. You are responsible for unlocking your potential. And you can't do that while staying quiet.
Scarcity leads to competition. Abundance leads to collaboration. One of scarcity's nastiest symptoms is unnecessary competition. When you think there's not enough to go around, you treat everyone as a threat. You hoard, you hide, you sabotage. But in abundance, you collaborate, you refer, you build together, you share your wins, you uplift others. That's why communities of abundant thinkers thrive, because they don't fear someone else's light. They know it only makes the room brighter. Summary: don't just think bigger, believe bigger. You can't build a wealthy life with a poor mindset. You can't ask for more when you believe you deserve less. You can't escape the system if you don't believe you belong outside of it. So today, ask yourself, where am I shrinking out of fear? What have I been afraid to ask for? What would my life look like if I operated from abundance, not scarcity? Because that shift from there's not enough to there's always more where that came from is the foundation of every fortune ever built. The rich don't just make more, they expect more. They ask for more. They believe more is possible and they act like it. And now, so can you.
Permission versus power. Why the rich don't wait for a yes. Most people are waiting, not for inspiration, not for money, not even for the right time. They're waiting for permission. Permission to dream bigger. Permission to ask for more. Permission to start, to try, to build, to lead. But here's the uncomfortable truth. No one is coming to give you permission. And the people who succeed never waited for it. They gave it to themselves. We were trained to ask first. From a young age, we were conditioned to ask for approval. Can I go to the bathroom? May I speak now? Is this good enough? Obedience was praised. Initiative was often punished. And so we grew up seeking validation before action, waiting for someone older, smarter, richer, or more experienced to say, "You're ready, you can go now." But by the time that yes arrives, if it ever does, it's already too late. You've spent years sitting in silence, playing small, shrinking behind the rules. The poor wait for a green light. The rich build the road and drive through anyway. The poor ask, "Am I allowed to charge this much? Do I have the right degree? What if I'm not qualified?" The rich say, "This is what I'm worth. I'll figure it out. Let the market decide." They act and let the world catch up because they understand that action earns respect far faster than begging earns permission. Permission culture is a trap. We live in a culture obsessed with permission. Permission to speak, permission to promote yourself, permission to raise your prices, permission to call yourself an expert, permission to be visible. And behind it all, a fear of judgment. What if people laugh? What if I'm rejected? What if they say no? But guess what? You can be the most obedient person in the world and still be broke, invisible, replaceable. Because playing small doesn't keep you safe. It just keeps you stuck. Power is not given, it's taken. The rich don't wait for someone to crown them with approval. They assume the crown and act accordingly. They write the book without asking a publisher. They launch the business without an MBA. They call themselves founder before making their first dollar. They raise their price and let the market adjust. Why? Because they understand this. The world reflects the confidence you bring to it. If you act like you belong, if you move like you're enough, if you demand your worth without apology, people respond.
Because most people are secretly looking for someone bold enough to lead without asking. Be that person.
The inner war. Who am I to... Let's address the voice in your head. The one that whispers, who am I to charge this? Who am I to teach this? Who am I to lead others? Who am I to be successful? That voice thrives in silence, in hesitation, in the space between potential and permission. And the only way to silence it is to act anyway. Let your doing be louder than your doubting, because no one will ever feel you're worthy enough until you do. The power of self-permission. The most successful people aren't the most talented. They're the most self-authorized. They didn't wait for the degree. They didn't wait for the invite. They didn't wait for the algorithm, the applause, or the approval. They gave themselves permission to start, speak, lead, sell, fail, begin again, be visible, be compensated, take up space. And that self-permission turned into power. Institutions are built to delay you. Let's get brutally honest. Most systems, education, corporate, social, are designed to keep you asking, to keep you waiting, to keep you doubting. Because obedient people are easy to manage. People who ask for permission rarely shake the system. They comply, they conform, they keep things predictable. But the ones who rise, they disrupt, they challenge, they create new paths. And to do that, you can't wait for anyone to say, it's your turn. You have to take your turn. The world rewards boldness. Ever notice how average people with confidence outperform talented people with hesitation? Because boldness gets attention. Boldness opens doors. Boldness communicates certainty. It says, I believe in what I'm doing, and so should you. You don't need to be arrogant, but you do need to be decisive. The rich are rewarded for moving first, even when they're not 100% ready. Because most people are still stuck at the starting line, waiting for a yes that may never come. You don't need a seat at the table. Build your own. Forget asking for a seat. Build the damn table. Set the rules, create the platform, design the opportunity. The most powerful people in the world didn't wait to be accepted. They built things so valuable, the world had to pay attention. That's how you shift from powerless to powerful, by creating things people can't ignore. Summary: stop asking, start owning. Permission is poverty. Power is prosperity. And the fastest way to move from one to the other is to stop waiting for a yes. No one can authorize your value but you. No one can define your worth but you. No one can write your check but you. So today, right now, ask yourself, where am I still asking for permission? What would I do differently if I already believed I was enough? What am I waiting for and why? Then take one action, just one, that says, I no longer need permission, I choose power. Because the rich don't wait to be crowned, they wake up and wear it.
How to start writing your own checks. You've heard the phrase, don't wait to be paid, write your own checks. It sounds powerful, but what does it actually mean? It doesn't mean printing fake money. It doesn't mean becoming a millionaire overnight. It means becoming the kind of person who no longer depends on a boss, a job, a market, or an economy to tell them what they're worth. It means taking ownership over your income and your identity. It means no longer asking, how much will they pay me? But instead asking, how much value can I create? And here's the good news. You don't have to be rich to start acting like one. You just need to think and move like someone who owns their future. Let's break it down. Step 1. Shift from labor to leverage. If you want to write your own checks, you need to stop asking, "How can I earn more per hour?" and start asking, "How can I remove myself from the equation?" Start small. Automate what can be automated. Package what can be packaged. Sell what can be sold again and again. Move from doing the work to designing the system. This is how rich people earn while sleeping, not because they're lazy, but because they built leverage. Step 2. Find your value engine. Every person has something valuable inside them. You may not see it because no one ever taught you to look, but it's there. A skill you've practiced, a problem you know how to solve, a story others can learn from, a passion you've mastered quietly, or a result you've achieved that others want too. This is your value engine. Your job is to identify it and then package it into a product, service, or experience that others can pay for. The rich don't invent value from thin air. They recognize what they already have and monetize it. You can too. Step 3. Build once, earn often. Poor people work harder every month to earn more. Rich people work once and get paid repeatedly. That's the difference between income and assets. So ask yourself, can I turn my skill into a digital product? Can I create a course from my process? Can I write something once that earns forever? Can I license my knowledge? Can I build a tool others will pay to use? Your first asset doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work without you. That's how you start writing checks instead of waiting for one. Step 4. Name your price, then say it with confidence. Here's something poor people struggle with: pricing. They undercharge. They apologize for asking. They wait to feel ready. Meanwhile, the rich name their price and let the market respond. Not everyone will pay. Not everyone needs to. You don't need the world to agree with your value. You need to own it. So practice saying, "This is what I charge. This is my rate. These are my terms. This is the value I deliver, and it's worth every penny." No explanation, no apology. Confidence writes checks. Uncertainty waits for approval.
Step 5. Multiply through systems. Want to scale? You need systems. Systems are how rich people reach more people, deliver more value, reduce their hours, increase their income. Examples? Email sequences that sell for you, calendars that automate client bookings, funnels that turn followers into buyers, teams that fulfill services while you lead, automations that collect payments, feedback, and referrals. A system is a machine. Once it's working, you no longer need to trade time for money. You've moved into the realm of scalable income, the foundation of writing your own check. Step 6. Raise the ceiling. Employees live under ceilings: income ceiling, schedule ceiling, permission ceiling, promotion ceiling. If you want to write your own checks, you must raise or eliminate those ceilings. That means offering higher ticket solutions, creating tiered offers, serving more ideal clients, saying no to low-value work, learning skills that make you irreplaceable. Ceilings exist for people who follow other people's rules. The rich write their own rules and the checks that follow. Step 7. Treat yourself like a business. This is one of the most underrated mindset shifts. Stop thinking like a person who works. Start thinking like a business that creates. What does that look like? Track your revenue like a CEO. Build a brand around your name or your work. Invest in tools that scale your output. Protect your time like a valuable asset. Set goals based on profit, not just effort. When you see yourself as a business, you stop waiting for handouts. You start making strategic decisions. And businesses don't wait to be paid. They send invoices. Step 8. Master your mindset or stay poor. No amount of strategy matters if you still think like someone waiting for a raise.
Writing your own check requires a belief upgrade, from doubt to certainty, from permission to power, from survival to service, from worker to creator, from earning to owning. You are not here to be underpaid, unseen, and unfulfilled. You are here to build, to create value, to capture it, to deliver it, and to own the rewards. That begins in your head and shows up in your wallet. Summary: write it, don't wait for it. Let's recap. To write your own check, you must shift from labor to leverage. Find your personal value engine. Create once, earn repeatedly. Price boldly and without apology. Multiply through systems. Raise your ceiling. Think like a business. Upgrade your mindset. Every person who writes their own check today started with nothing but a decision. A decision to stop waiting, to stop begging, to stop hoping, and to start building. You're not powerless. You're just not used to holding the pen. Now's the time. Take it back and start writing.
Business versus job, the wealth divide. Not all income is created equal, and not all work leads to wealth. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings in society. People think having a job means they're secure. People think being busy means they're building wealth. People think effort equals results. But there's a silent divide that separates the truly wealthy from the eternally working. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's not even about intelligence. It's about structure. One side lives on paychecks. The other lives on profits. One side has a job. The other owns a business. That's the wealth divide. And if you want to escape the cycle of working forever, you need to understand it. What a job really means. Let's start with the truth. There's nothing wrong with having a job. Jobs pay the bills. Jobs provide structure. Jobs offer short-term stability. But here's the issue. A job is a system you don't control. You don't set the price. You don't keep the profits. You don't choose the hours. You don't own the outcome. You're trading your time to help someone else build their dream. And for that, they give you a slice of the value you helped create. Sound fair? Maybe, but it's not freedom, and it's not wealth. What a business really is. Now let's flip it. A business is a system you own. It doesn't mean you have 50 employees or a downtown office. It means you've built something that creates value, attracts customers, sells consistently, operates with or without you, generates profit, not just pay. In a job, your income is capped. In a business, your income is created. You write the check, not wait for one. And that right there is the wealth gap. Jobs exchange time. Businesses multiply time. Let's break down the core difference. A job equals trading hours for dollars. A business equals building systems that earn without hours. In a job, you stop working, income stops. You get sick, income stops. You retire, income stops. In a business, you can hire help. You can automate delivery. You can sell while you sleep. You can scale without burnout. That's why someone with a small business can out-earn a high-paid employee. They've disconnected effort from income. Why most people stay employees forever? Here's the honest reason most never cross the divide. Fear. Fear of risk. Fear of failure. Fear of instability. Fear of not being ready. Fear of judgment.
So they stay in the job, even when they hate it, even when they know they're worth more, even when they dream of freedom. Because a job feels safe. But what's the cost of that feeling? Living by someone else's rules? Capping your income forever? Having no exit strategy? Retiring broke? That's the hidden cost of comfort. Tools. You don't need to quit to begin. Here's the good news. You don't need to quit your job to start building. In fact, you shouldn't. Not right away. Start your business on the side. Use nights and weekends. Use your current job to fund your future. Use the stability to take smart risks. The goal isn't to burn the bridge, it's to build a new one while standing on the old. Step by step. Build your offer. Find your audience. Test your system. Grow your confidence. Replace your income. Then, when the time is right, walk across. That's how real freedom is made. Employees work. Business owners build. Let's simplify. Category. Job. Time. Earns per hour. Business. Earns anytime. Control. Limited. Business. Full. Income. Capped. Business. Scalable. Risk. Low short-term. Business. High short-term. Freedom. Delayed. Business. Designed. Wealth. Hard to build. Business. Built in. One isn't morally better, but only one builds long-term wealth. And that's what this video is about. Escaping the paycheck trap and stepping into ownership. Your job is not your identity. Most people tie their identity to their title. I'm a teacher. I'm a manager. I'm an analyst. I'm an employee. But those aren't who you are. They're what you do. If your entire self-worth is tied to your role in someone else's system, you'll always be at their mercy. True freedom begins when you separate your worth from your workplace. You're not your job. You're a builder, a creator, a thinker, a doer. Own that. Then use it to build something that's yours. Summary. Cross the divide one step at a time. Let's recap. A job gives you income. A business gives you ownership. A job is working inside a system. A business is creating the system. A job helps you survive. A business helps you build wealth. You don't have to leap overnight, but you do have to start. Start learning the skills. Start testing ideas. Start building leverage. Start thinking like a builder, not just a worker. Because the wealth divide isn't about money. It's about mindset. It's about structure. It's about who writes the check. And when you cross that line, you'll never look back.
The investor's mind, making money while you sleep. We've all heard the phrase, make money while you sleep. It sounds like a fantasy to most people because most people were raised to believe money equals effort, income equals labor, wealth equals working more. But the rich think differently. They know the real path to wealth isn't earning more, it's owning things that earn for you. That's the investor's mind. And if you want true financial freedom, you have to stop working for money and start making money work for you. The core belief of an investor. Here's the belief that separates investors from workers. Money is a tool, not a reward. Poor people treat money as something to spend. Middle-class people treat money as something to save. Rich people treat money as something to multiply. To them, every dollar is a soldier. Every dollar has a job. That job is to bring back more dollars without needing your time.
When you think like an investor, you stop asking, "What can I buy?" and start asking, "What can I build or own that pays me back?" If you only earn when you work, you'll never be free. Let's be honest. If your income only flows when you're awake, focused, and working, you're a prisoner of productivity. One accident, one illness, one market crash, and your income stops. But an investor is free because they've planted financial seeds that grow even when they rest, even when they sleep, even when the world shakes. They don't need to be busy. They need to be positioned. That's the power of passive income and why the rich chase assets, not effort. What does it mean to be an investor? Being an investor doesn't mean wearing a suit or trading stocks full-time. It means allocating resources to generate more resources. That includes investing in assets, real estate, stocks, funds, crypto, investing in systems, businesses, automation, digital tools, investing in skills, learning high-value abilities that pay forever, investing in people, hiring or partnering with others to expand value, investing in distribution, platforms, content, and reach. Every dollar, every hour, every connection is viewed as an investment, not a cost, a seed. Earn, save, invest, repeat. This is the flywheel of wealth. Earn actively through work, business, or service. Save wisely, not to hoard, but to prepare. Invest strategically in things that grow. Repeat constantly, so your money multiplies. Poor people stop at step 1, earn, spend. Middle-class people go to step 2, earn, save. The rich go all the way. Earn, invest, expand. They understand that saving alone won't beat inflation. It won't buy freedom. It won't create legacy. Only investing does that.
Real examples of making money while you sleep. Let's get specific. Here are ways investors earn in their sleep. Real estate rentals, properties generating monthly cash flow. Dividend stocks, shares that pay out earnings regularly. Digital courses, created once, sold forever. Affiliate marketing, commissions from traffic or referrals. Online businesses, Shopify, SaaS, or content platforms. Royalties from books, music, photography. Index funds, broad market investments with long-term returns. YouTube channels, monetized views day and night. Crypto staking, earning interest from holding coins. Each of these requires setup, but once they're running, they pay without clocking in. The investor buys time, not stuff. Here's the difference in priorities. Poor people buy comfort. Middle-class people buy liabilities. Rich people buy time. How? By investing in things that remove them from the income equation. Instead of buying a better car, they buy an ad campaign. Instead of upgrading the TV, they upgrade their tools. Instead of flexing on Instagram, they invest in influence. Because they know freedom isn't found in what you own. It's found in what you no longer have to do. And only investments give you that. Stop. I don't have money to invest. A lie poor people believe. This is a common excuse. I can't invest because I'm broke. But investing isn't just about money. It's about mindset and movement. You can invest time into learning, skill into building, energy into creating assets, effort into launching a side hustle, focus into scaling what works. Don't wait until you have enough. You'll never start. Start with what you do have and grow it. Because the earlier you begin, the more time your investments have to grow. Investor thinking in everyday life. To become an investor, you must start thinking like one, daily. Ask yourself, is this purchase a liability or an asset?
Can this tool or platform help me earn back? Will this decision pay me again in the future? Can I turn this into a repeatable income stream? Is this urgent or important to long-term wealth? These questions rewire your brain. They shift you from spender to strategist. That's how the investor's mind is formed, not in boardrooms, but in daily choices. Summary: let your money work harder than you. Let's recap what the investor's mind looks like. Sees money as a tool, not a trophy. Buys assets, not just status. Builds systems, not just savings. Focuses on growth, not comfort. Values freedom over flash. Starts small, compounds forever. Prioritizes long-term impact over short-term dopamine. Most importantly, an investor understands that time is life, and money is meant to buy it back. So if you're tired of trading hours for dollars, if you want to wake up richer than you were yesterday, if you're ready to stop working harder and start working smarter, then it's time to stop just earning money and start deploying it. Because the rich don't ask how to make more. They ask, how can I make more without me? And that's the ultimate freedom.
Licensing, royalties, digital income. Get paid forever from one idea. What if you could create something once and get paid for it over and over again for years? That's not a fantasy. That's how the rich build perpetual income. They don't just sell time or trade effort. They create assets that keep working, keep earning, and keep scaling without constant attention. Welcome to the world of licensing, royalties, digital income. This is the true power of the ownership economy, where ideas become income streams and your creations earn while you sleep. Let's unpack exactly how it works and how you can start today. The mental shift from creator to asset owner. Most people think, if I want more income, I have to work more. But creators and business builders think, if I want more income, I need more assets working for me. A digital asset is anything you can create once and sell infinite times, such as an ebook, a course, a music track, a software tool, a stock photo, a design template, a training video, a mobile app. Each of these can generate recurring revenue without trading more time. You stop being a service provider and start being a license holder. Royalties. Getting paid while you're not there. Royalties are payments you receive when someone else uses or distributes your work. This could include books, every time a copy is sold. Music, every time a song plays on Spotify, YouTube, radio. Photography, every time your image is downloaded from a stock platform. Courses, every time someone enrolls. Software, when others subscribe or integrate your code. Characters, designs, trademarks, when others license your intellectual property. You don't need to be famous. You just need to create something useful and make it available at scale. One good asset equals years of income. Licensing. Let others sell what you built. Licensing is when someone pays you to use your product, method, or content. Examples: a business pays to use your logo or brand. A speaker licenses your framework for their training. A company pays to sell your product under their name. An online school pays to include your course in their library. You keep ownership, they get value, you get paid. It's the ultimate leverage. They do the work, you earn the check. This is how smart entrepreneurs scale income without scaling effort. The rise of digital income.
We are now in the golden age of digital monetization, thanks to platforms like Gumroad, Udemy,
Teachable, YouTube, Substack, Canva Creator, Patreon, Amazon KDP, Fiverr, and Envato. You can sell your creations to the world automatically. Create once, upload once, promote once, and earn forever. No warehouse, no shipping, no staff. Just digital value multiplied by digital reach. Real-life examples of one idea to forever pay. The PDF empire. A woman created a set of printable planners on Etsy, now earns $10,000 plus monthly in passive sales. Course creators. Coaches turn their expertise into video modules. Thousands of students later, they've stopped trading hours entirely. Template sellers. Designers build drag-and-drop templates for Instagram, resumes, websites. They sell 24/7 to people across the globe. Musicians and sound creators. Sound designers upload music and SFX to stock sites. Each download equals a royalty. Authors on Amazon. Writers self-publish low-content books, journals, notebooks, how-tos. Amazon prints and ships them, the author collects the money. These are ordinary people, not millionaires, just creators who understood this truth. If you can build once, you can earn forever. How to start building your first digital asset. You don't need to be a coder. You don't need to be a designer. You don't even need a huge following. You need a clear problem or need. What do people struggle with or want help solving? A simple solution you can package. This could be a tutorial, a checklist, a template, a framework, a course, a tool. A platform to sell on. Choose one that matches your skill and audience. A way to promote. Organic content, ads, collaborations, email, communities. Then, launch, improve, scale. Your first sale may take weeks. Your next 1,000 could be automated. Don't wait to be expert enough. Many people hold back because they think, there's already too much out there. I'm not the best at this. Who would pay for this? But remember, you don't need to be a guru. You need to be one step ahead of the person who needs your help. That's it. The market rewards clarity and utility, not perfection. Create something useful, make it accessible, and let the internet do the rest. Summary: create once, cash forever. Here's the ultimate shift. Stop chasing one-time income. Start creating lifetime assets. Because when you understand the power of licensing, royalties, digital products, you stop working for every dollar. You start building systems that print dollars. You become the owner of ideas that keep paying you back. You earn from your expertise, your creativity, your solutions. And instead of asking, how can I get paid? You ask, what can I create that pays me for life? That's not just a mindset, it's a model, and it's available to you right now.
Real stories, people who stopped waiting. So far, we've covered the mindset shifts, the systems, the strategies, but nothing hits harder than this. Real people, real stories, real transformations. Because when you see people just like you, with no huge capital, no fancy titles, no magical connections, build wealth and freedom by refusing to wait, it becomes clear, you can do it too. Let's explore 3 true stories of ordinary individuals who stopped waiting to be picked and picked themselves. They didn't ask for permission, they created results. Story number 1. Sarah, the burned-out freelancer who created a digital empire. Sarah was a freelance graphic designer. Talented, yes, but overwhelmed. She worked 10 hours a day for demanding clients and never felt like she could take a break. Every dollar required new work. Every month started at 0. One night, exhausted, she asked herself, what if I made something once and let it work for me? So she spent 2 weeks creating a bundle of Instagram templates, just Canva designs, nothing revolutionary. She listed them on Etsy and promoted on Pinterest. In her first month, $37. Nothing exciting, but she didn't quit. She optimized, added more designs, learned SEO, started building a small email list. 12 months later, she was earning $8,000 per month passively. Today, she's retired from client work, runs her own digital shop, and teaches others to do the same. Her secret? She stopped waiting to be hired and started selling what she owned. Story number 2, Jamal, the corporate analyst who became an online educator. Jamal worked in a bank for 9 years. Smart guy, degree in finance, but every day felt like copy-paste. He knew Excel better than most of his coworkers. He had systems for reporting, budgeting, dashboards, all in his head. One day he thought, if I quit, my knowledge dies with me. What if I taught it? He recorded a few tutorial videos, just screen recordings, uploaded to YouTube, created a basic online course using Teachable. At first, barely any views. But then one video went semi-viral, 10 Excel tricks you wish you knew sooner. People started subscribing. He launched his course for $49 and got 10 sales in the first week. Today, he's made over $400,000 from his courses, runs a weekly newsletter, left his job, travels full-time, and it all started with one question. What if I taught instead of waited?
Story number 3. Anna, the stay-at-home mom who built a 6-figure planner brand. Anna never thought of herself as an entrepreneur. She was busy raising 2 kids, managing the household, and just trying to find time for herself. But she had one habit. She loved designing printable planners to organize her day. One day, a friend said, "You should sell these." She laughed it off. But the thought stuck. She opened a simple Etsy shop called Plan with Anna. Uploaded 5 PDFs, daily planners, habit trackers, a meal planner. No marketing experience, no business degree, just a Canva account and curiosity. First week, 1 sale. She cried tears of joy. 3 years later, over 20,000 customers. Full digital product catalog. Her husband left his job to help her. She now teaches a workshop from mom to maker. All because she stopped saying, "I'm just a mom," and started saying, "I can create value and get paid for it." What do these stories have in common? Let's zoom out. What do Sarah, Jamal, and Anna share? They stopped waiting for permission, for funding, for confidence. They started small, a template, a tutorial, a planner. They built once, then let their systems work. They learned as they went. No MBA, no investors, no perfect launch. They showed up consistently. They tweaked, they improved, they didn't quit. And now, they write their own checks. What's your version of this story? You may not be a designer, an analyst, or a planner nerd. That's not the point. The point is, you already know something that solves a problem. And if you package it, if you put it in front of the right people, if you stop waiting to be discovered, you can turn it into a machine that pays you over and over again. Ask yourself, what do people ask me for help with? What do I know how to do better than most? What do I enjoy creating, teaching, explaining? What problem did I solve for myself that others might pay for? Your first product, course, system, service, or template doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. Stop telling yourself, "Not yet." These people weren't ready. Sarah had no audience. Jamal had no camera presence. Anna had no marketing skills. But they had something more powerful, a decision. A decision to begin. A decision to stop watching others succeed. A decision to stop trading their time and start building income that multiplies. They didn't wait for a sign. They became one. Today, it's their story. Tomorrow, it's yours. Every wealthy person you admire started with the same fear, the same doubt, the same small steps. They just didn't let waiting define them. Neither should you. So the question is no longer, can I do this? The question is, will I finally stop waiting and start building? Because the moment you move, the moment you commit, you'll write the first page of your own transformation story.
Redefine what you deserve. There's a quiet belief that shapes every financial decision you make. It's not about skill. It's not about strategy. It's not even about luck. It's about what you believe you deserve. Because deep down, if you don't believe you deserve more, you'll never ask for more. You'll never build more. You'll never receive more. That's why so many talented, hardworking people stay stuck. They've been taught to settle, not by facts, but by internal limits. And to become wealthy, you must do more than work harder. You must redefine your self-worth. You earn what you tolerate. Take a hard look at your income right now. Chances are it reflects what you've been willing to accept, not your actual potential. Ask yourself, have you been undercharging? Have you been afraid to raise your rates? Have you been doing more than you're paid for? Have you been saying yes to people who don't value you? If so, it's not because you're weak. It's because on some level, you think, this is all I'm worth right now. That belief becomes a ceiling, not set by your boss, not set by the market, set by you. Stop. Deserve has been twisted. Society has trained us to link deserving with suffering. You worked hard, you deserve a break. You struggled, you deserve a little more. You sacrificed, you deserve a raise. But wealth doesn't reward pain. It rewards clarity, value, and courage. You don't need to bleed to be worthy. You don't need to wait until you're exhausted. You don't need to earn the right to dream big. You just need to believe, at your core, that having more doesn't make you bad. It makes you free. The cycle of just enough. Here's how it works. You settle for less. You get paid less. You adjust your life to survive on less. You start to believe less is normal. You become afraid to ask for more because it feels greedy. This cycle kills potential. You don't even realize you're trapped because everything around you feels like stability. But comfort is not success. Stability is not growth. And enough to get by is not enough to thrive. You must break the cycle by expanding what you believe is possible for you. Change your inner language. Listen closely to how you speak to yourself. I just want a little more. I'm fine with what I have. I don't need to be rich. That's not for people like me. I'm not sure I'm ready. These statements don't protect you. They confine you. Now try this instead. I'm allowed to want more. I can learn to earn more. My value isn't determined by my past. I can rewrite what I believe I'm worth. I am ready because I've decided to be. Powerful wealth always begins with powerful words, spoken to yourself. Target, upgrade your standard, upgrade your life. Wealthy people don't wait for permission to deserve more. They expect more. They walk into the room with posture.
They quote their price with clarity. They design businesses and systems that reflect their belief. I don't chase, I create, and I'm paid accordingly. You don't need to be loud, you need to be clear. You don't need to be arrogant, you need to be anchored. Anchored in the truth that your time, your ideas, and your work have real value. And when you believe that deeply, the world responds. You're not asking for too much, you're asking the wrong people. A common fear? What if people don't pay me what I ask? Here's the truth. Some won't. That's fine. They're not your people. Your job is not to convince those who undervalue you. Your job is to find, attract, and serve those who do. There are people right now looking for what you offer. They just haven't found you yet. And they won't until you step up and stand firm in your value. Unlock the generational ceiling. This is bigger than money. When you raise what you believe you deserve, you change how your children see money. You break the cycle of financial shame. You become a new blueprint for those around you. You rewrite the story of your lineage. You're not just earning, you're liberating. You're showing your future self and your entire bloodline what's possible when one person chooses to no longer play small. Summary: rewrite the rules of what you're worth. Let's recap. You earn what you tolerate. You deserve more the moment you decide you do. Deserving isn't about suffering, it's about value. You must break the habit of playing small. You need to stop adjusting to low standards and start raising your own. You are worthy right now of wealth, freedom, and abundance. This isn't about ego, it's about ownership. The world doesn't give you what's fair. It gives you what you expect and what you enforce. So ask yourself, if I got exactly what I believed I deserved, would I be proud of that number? If the answer is no, it's time to upgrade the belief, and the income will follow.
Conclusion: stop waiting, start writing. Let's come back to where we began. If someone else decides your paycheck, they also decide your limit, your schedule, your value, your freedom. And the truth is harsh but clear. The poor wait to be paid. The rich write their own checks. Not because they're better, not because they're smarter, but because they've chosen a different path. A path where they don't wait to be picked. They pick themselves. They don't wait for income. They build it. They don't wait for opportunity. They create it. They don't wait for permission. They give it to themselves. And so can you. Mental truths: you've learned the truths. Now you have a choice. Throughout this video, you've seen what keeps people stuck. Waiting for a raise, trading time for money, relying on a single job, believing they're not ready yet, thinking small, settling for less, fearing rejection, avoiding risk. And you've seen what the wealthy do instead. They create value, not excuses. They build systems, not schedules. They own assets, not just effort. They believe in abundance, not limitation. They move fast, not perfectly. They ask boldly, not timidly. They invest forward, not spend backward. Now the question is no longer, can you do this? It's, will you? There is no perfect time, only a powerful decision. Most people will leave this video inspired, but unchanged. Not because they're lazy, but because they've been conditioned to believe it's not my time yet. But here's the truth no one tells you. There is no such thing as the right time. There is only now. Now is the moment you stop waiting. Now is the moment you reclaim your worth.
Now is the moment you stop asking for checks and start writing your own. The pen is already in your hand. Every excuse you've held on to, someone just like you had it too. No money? They started with free tools. No audience? They built one post at a time.
No time? They worked after hours. No confidence? They acted anyway. They didn't wait for a sign. They became the sign. They didn't wait for luck. They built the system. They didn't wait to be paid. They wrote the check. And so can you. The shift begins today. You are no longer an employee hoping for a raise, a dreamer afraid of failure, a creator waiting for approval, a hustler chasing scraps. You are now a builder of systems, a multiplier of value, a designer of income, a leader of your own wealth journey. You are the one who writes the rules. You are the one who sets the price. You are the one who signs the check. And no one, no job, no market, no person can take that power unless you hand it over. Your next step is the most important. If this message spoke to something in you, don't just nod and scroll. Act. Right now. Write down one thing you can build, one platform you can launch, one skill you can package, one product you can test, one price you can raise, one lie you can stop believing. Then do it. Today, before the fear creeps back in. Because the longer you wait, the louder the doubt becomes. And the more you move, the smaller it gets. Final words. The wealthiest people you know, they just stopped waiting. They stopped waiting for enough knowledge, waiting for someone to notice them, waiting for money to magically appear, waiting for motivation, waiting for the world to tell them they're good enough. They didn't wait. They decided. And in that decision, they became wealthy, not just in money, but in freedom, in ownership, in peace. Now it's your turn. Write the check. Write your rules. Write your life. Stop waiting. Start writing.